Hey there, movie fans. Welcome to the Blues of January, my first update of 2017. First up, I'd like to give a shout out to Eastwood for Life fan. His name is Carlos. He has been very supportive of me and my channel, and he also has been checking out a lot of my videos lately, especially the old ones. And I like to thank him this way by giving him a shout out because he absolutely deserves it. By the way, he is the Carlos from Todd E. Walnut's videos. They have been doing many trades together. And recently he has posted his first video, and there will be more videos to come, he told me, including a video of his spaghetti western collection. So I'm very much looking forward to that, Carlos. But anyway, go check him out and go subscribe to him, of course, and check out his video. He's a very nice guy, Carlos, aka Eastwood for Life fan. The link is below. Okay, well, first up, I'd like to show you 3 DVDs, and the first one is Postcards from the Edge. Now, after the death of Carrie Fisher and her mother, Debbie Reynolds, I was thinking about this movie, because this is basically about them. Meryl Streep plays the Carrie Fisher character, and Shirley MacLaine plays the Debbie Reynolds character. There are some differences, of course, between the movie and what really happened. I mean, it's part autobiographic, part fiction, and it's based on Carrie Fisher's first book, and she also wrote the screenplay. Excuse me. And I saw the movie the other day with Carrie Fisher's audio commentary, and she was a very funny woman, and she was also very, very honest and open about her problems, her addictions and her manic depressions. And she had a couple of funny stories to tell during the commentary. Although she seemed, not very prepared. She sometimes forgot a few things, for example, names like that. But it was, it was nice watching this film with her commentary. And the movie itself is okay. It's definitely not the best film that these actresses has done, but it's definitely worth a watch. The next DVD is a Russian film, and this is At Home Among Strangers and Stranger Among His Own. Now, I got this DVD from a seller from Amazon UK. There is a Dutch DVD of this, and I was looking for that one first, but the seller that I found, the Dutch DVD is out of print, and the seller was asking 35 euros for it. That does not include the postal service. So I thought it was a little ridiculous. So I went to see, this some searching elsewhere, and found this seller on Amazon UK. And I eventually paid 14 euros, including shipping. So that's a no-brainer, right? And it is a Russian DVD, but it does have English and Dutch subtitles, so that's really good. Martin Koolhoven, the director of Brimstone, excellent film, by the way, Brimstone. I did a movie review recently. You haven't seen that one yet, please go check it out. But he gave his 6 Western recommendations, and this was one of them. And it's not exactly a Western, but it definitely is Western influenced. It's set against the Russian Civil War in 1917, and it's about this man who is falsely accused of stealing gold, and he's being arrested, but he managed to escape and starts his own investigation of. Directed by this man, Nikita Mikhalkov. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, but he plays a small role as the leader of this gang, kind of like a cowboy figure, as you can see. But he won an Oscar in the mid-1990s for Burnt in the Sun, and this was his first film, if I'm correct. But yeah, it was alright. It was alright. You know, pretty decent Russian Western, if you will. And the last DVD is Snubbercast 3. Finally completed the trilogy. Still need to see this one. I've only seen the first one so far. But I thought the first one was really good, and you know, can't wait to check out the other two. With Joel Kinnaman, you might know him from Suicide Squad and the RoboCop remake. And this man, I believe his name is Matthias Varela. I don't know if I said it right, but he was also in The Borgias. You know, he played King Ferdinand II of Naples. And that's an excellent TV series, by the way, The Borgias, you know, by Neil Jordan. It's such a shame that it was cancelled after 3 seasons. You know, I was hoping that they would do one more season, you know, to give it a proper ending, but alas. Okay, on to the blues, and the first one is The Park Is Mine. I've been waiting for this movie for so long. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the last time I've seen it on VHS, or yeah, either on VHS or on television. I think it was television. And it has been certainly over 20 years since I've last seen this one. It never has gotten an official DVD release. So I was very thrilled to, you know, when I found out that the Kino was going to release this on Blu-ray. On the other hand, I was also afraid that this movie would not be as good as I remember. But it was good. I do like it. It does have flaws. I mean, there are some scenes in it that were funny, and I don't think it was meant to be funny. But yeah, it definitely a pretty good film. Tommy Lee Jones plays a Vietnam veteran who is, you know, fed up with the way he and his war buddies are being treated, and he takes over Central Park, you know, to make a point, you know, to get some attention to, you know, this problem that they are having, and it's pretty good, yeah, pretty good. It's you can compare it with First Blood, although First Blood is a better film in my opinion, but it's still worth checking out. By the way, The Park Is Mine, and I'm glad to finally have this in my collection. This is the German steelbook of Don't Breathe, which is pretty good film, but I expected more from it, especially in terms of suspense, you know. But it was pretty good overall. Directed by Fede Alvarez. He also did the excellent Evil Dead remake. And this is also some sort of a remake to Panic Room, which in my opinion is a much better film. But I enjoyed this film, you know, don't get me wrong, I absolutely enjoyed it, but I expected more from it. But I really like the design of this steelbook. You know, love the face there with the blind eyes. Unfortunately, I wish I could say the same about this steelbook. This is from you know, the Magnificent 7, the 2016 version. I mean, the back cover looks alright, but the front cover looks boring and bland. I mean, there's a much better steelbook out there by HMV, for example. There's a YouTuber named Blu-ray Madness who has shown that steelbook in one of his videos, and it looks a lot better, more beautiful than this one. And there's also, you know, the inside artwork is, well, there is no inside artwork. It's just completely red. So very disappointing steelbook, this one. But the movie is very entertaining. You know, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, is not as good as, you know, the 1960 version of the Magnificent 7, which is a classic, and definitely not as good as Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, which is the one that started it all, right? But I absolutely enjoyed it. It's such a shame about this fucking steelbook. And there's another steelbook. This is from Metropolis, which is one of my favorite anime ever, right? Very glad that the Eureka has released this on Blu-ray. Nothing on the back, as you can see. That's a little disappointing. Wait, let me show you the inside. There is some inside artwork. There's the Blu-ray and the DVD. Here it is. Of course, it is inspired by Fritz Lang's Metropolis, and it looks amazing. This film looks absolutely amazing. And there's one scene, one particular scene, at the end, which is an action scene, and it contains a song by Ray Charles. Now, the first time I saw this, I was actually like, where the hell is this coming from? Where does the music coming from? But in a strange way, the song, combined with that action scene, actually works. It works perfectly. If you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. But this is fantastic Japanese animation, Metropolis. Next is You're So Cool, Brewster, the story of Fright Night, which is a documentary about the original 2 Fright Night movies. And this set is exclusively available on this website called Screenings. I don't know if they still have some copies left, because this is limited to 1,000. And I think they might still have some copies left, but I'm not exactly sure. But this documentary is, it's pretty long. It's three and a half hours long, and there will be a new Blu-ray coming out in March that will be put out by Eureka, and it will also contain this documentary. However, it will contain the shorter version, the first 2 hours, the 2-hour versions, because the first 2 hours of this documentary is about the original Fright Night, while the rest of the documentary is about, Fright Night Part 2. So it kind of makes sense why Eureka has put the first 2 hour on their Blu-ray. And some of the featurettes on here will also be on the Eureka Blu-ray as well. If my camera can find, there it is. Some of these special features there. But this is a very nice set. Let me show you what the inside looks like. It is a 3-disc set with some very nice artwork. A little comic book. There, let me show you that in a minute. There's the first disc. This is the Blu-ray, and then the other 2 are DVDs. And there's a small comic book that is somehow related to Fright Night. But a very nice set, and if you're a big fan of Fright Night, this is definitely something to pick up. Next is Jodorowsky's Dune. I used to say his name differently. I used to say Jodorowsky or something like that. Jodorowsky, because I thought that's how you say it, but it is Jodorowsky. Jodorowsky's Dune. Fascinating documentary about a movie that was never made. In the 1970s, Alejandro Jodorowsky wanted to bring his own version of Frank Herbert's Dune to the screen, and he failed. And this documentary shows what happened, And some people who were interviewed says that if the movie was made, it would have been a revolutionary film, it would have been a game changer, it would have changed the way we look at movies forever. And perhaps they were right, but I kind of doubt it. I mean, the special effects were going to be created by Dan O'Bannon, who later became a well-known writer-director. And Jodorowsky hired him after he had seen Dark Star. And the special effects in Dark Star looks very nice, especially for a low-budget film. But they were not revolutionary. I mean, obviously O'Bannon wouldn't have, he would have gotten a bigger budget for Dune, but with all due respect to O'Bannon, he was not Douglas Trumbull, who was Jodorowsky's first choice. After he had seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, which to me is still a revolutionary film, right? 2001, and the special effects still holds up today as well. But Jodorowsky didn't want to work with Trumbull because he was not a spiritual warrior, and he wanted to be surrounded by spiritual warriors, whatever that means. But the movie was never made, and I think that's mainly his fault. I mean, it's understandable why Hollywood never gave him the money to make his movie. He was, he was too arrogant, too ambitious, right? Too demanding. He wanted final cut. He wanted his vision and his vision alone on the screen, and he wanted the movie to be like 15 hours long or something like that. So it's understandable why Hollywood said no to him. But he did gather a great group of artists and production designers. Hazar Giger, Mobius, Chris Voss. Those are fantastic artists, and they actually got to work together on Alien, which coincidentally was co-written by Dan O'Bannon. So that's something good came out of this unproduced movie Dune. But as you all know, later on Dune was made by David Lynch, which is generally known as a failure. But to be honest, I've always liked David Lynch Dune. And speaking of which, there will be a new version coming out that is going to be directed by Denis Villeneuve, and that really excited me. I mean, I love Denis Villeneuve. He's one of my favorite directors of this moment. He's the guy who did Sicario, Prisoners, Enemy, Arrival, and he's later this year, Blade Runner 2049 is coming out, which is also directed by him. So having him directing Dune, that is very exciting, I have to say. I'm very much looking forward to that. And here's another movie documentary, De Palma, which is, of course, about Brian De Palma. I wanted to get another movie documentary, by the way, on Blu-ray, which is Hitchcock Truffaut. But that one is still a little too expensive for me, so I'm gonna wait for the for the price drop. But anyway, De Palma. This is really my kind of movie documentary. It's the kind where the director takes you through his career, one movie at a time. And this was directed by Noah Baumbach, who was an independent filmmaker from New York. He did The Squid and the Whale, While We're Young, Francis Ha, for example. And co-directed by Jake Paltrow, and I believe that is Gwyneth Paltrow's brother, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a fantastic documentary. When I was watching this, I really had the feeling of watching De Palma's films again, especially the ones that I haven't seen in a long, long time. Like Raising Cain, for example. And speaking of which, here is Raising Cain, put out by Arrow Video. I believe this is content-wise the same release as the Scream Factory 1. Both versions has on here, the theatrical version and the director's cut. The director's cut, by the way, has been recut or made by a Dutchman. I did not know that. Piet Gelderblom. But he's a De Palma fan, and he's a film and television maker. And just one day he grabbed the He grabbed the DVD of the theatrical version, and he kind of put the scenes in a way that was originally intended by De Palma, and he used a screenplay, the original screenplay for that he took from the internet, and so pretty much gave the version that was that De Palma had in mind the first time. And I've never seen the director's cut, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm going to watch the theatrical version first, and then this one, see what the differences are, and see which one is better. I recently saw the director's cut of the Exorcist 3, and it's great that they have done that. To give William Peter Blatty, who recently passed away, to give his version finally to the world, even though it's not entirely his version. I believe some of the scenes has been lost. But to be honest, I actually prefer the theatrical version of The Exorcist 3 than the director's cut. But still, it's great to finally see what he had in mind. But I'm very curious to see which version I like better of this wonderful Blu-ray set. And here's another terrific Arrow release, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia by Sam Peckinpah. Great release. I've already had the Twilight Time Blu-ray, which I'm probably not going to get rid of because that one has different special features, I believe. But this one has a limited edition bonus Blu-ray. Sam Peckinpah, Man of Iron, the director's cut. More than 10 hours of previously unseen interview footage. More than 10 hours. That's a lot of footage, I can tell you. Here's the artwork, or the original artwork of the movie. And it's a brilliant film. Definitely a brilliant film by the master of violence, as they call him. Yeah, terrific set. And that was it for my January 2017 update. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.